There's a term that Disney uses, Disney Animated Classic. It basically refers to every film that has been released by Walt Disney Animation Studios, although that's not what the company has always been called. I'm pretty sure they got called that in 2006, if I remember what I looked at on the Wikipedia earlier. I did just say Wikipedia, by the way, instead of Wikipedia. We're gonna roll with it. While at first glance, if you looked at the list of films that they have under this category, it would be completely understandable to call it an animated classic. I mean, you got movies like Snow White, Bambi, all of the princess movies. You got Fantasia and Fantasia 2000, which are, more artsy, but still doing something enough to where you're like, yeah, this is a classic. I mean, even if you look back at some of like the older movies under this category, you have the wartime era movies, which includes Make Mine Music, Melody Time, Fun and Fancy Free, Saludos Amigos, and The Three Caballeros. Now, if you haven't heard of these, don't worry, most people haven't. I've only seen like 2 of them. For reference, I was a huge, huge Disney fan in middle school. I have a list on my Letterboxd of how many Disney movies I've seen, either owned by Disney or made by Disney, and it's not even all of them, because there's gonna be ones I've missed. But there's a lot that I have seen from Disney movies from this era where I was obsessed with Disney. Don't ask me what the most recent Disney movie to come out was. I don't know. I don't remember. I have a life now, apparently. People keep telling me that. So older movies, sure, classics, because they're old. Abby, we get it. But what about like the 80s? Surely you're not like counting Black Cauldron as an animated classic. It flopped at the box office. Well, I don't think flopping at the box office means you're not a success. For example, some people, and by some people I mean me, really like Emperor's New Groove. And by some people, I also mean the homeschool kids who keep begging my mom to watch Emperor's New Groove because it's a great movie. My aunt was right when she made me watch it. Thank you, Aunt Beth. Okay, but Black Cauldron, I hear you say, doesn't have the same following and isn't as funny as Emperor's New Groove. Right. But it did something different. If you haven't seen Black Cauldron, it is a dark fantasy movie. There's some creepy stuff. There's a lot of skeletons happening in that movie. And for that reason, a lot of families didn't want to go see it. But it still did something different. The people who worked on it were passionate. And the final product's honestly pretty good. I say that like I've seen it more than once. Other movies that also kind of flopped, but you could still argue are classics, come from the 80s. And you have things like The Great Mouse Detective, which the average person hasn't seen, but if you watch it, that's a Disney movie. That's a Disney movie. Plus, it is the first Disney animated movie to use CGI in it. We also have movies like Oliver and Company, which is a retelling of Oliver Twist, but with a cat and a bunch of dogs, which you could argue, again, not really an animated classic. You sit your butt down. Go on YouTube after this video. Please wait till after this video. Go on YouTube and look up Why Should I Worry from Oliver and Company. Should I worry? Why should I care? Your Honor, I'm afraid that's a bop. It might not be like the best Disney movie ever, but it's good. That's a Disney movie. Like, you watch Oliver and Company, that's a Disney movie. You can't tell me Oliver and Company is like worse than like the Aristocats or something. Okay, the Aristocats had racism. One last movie from the 80s that you might argue is not a classic is one of Disney's sequels. I think this is actually the first Walt Disney animated classic that is a sequel, and it is The Rescuers Down Under. Now, if you haven't seen The Rescuers Down Under, the only things I remember is that there's an eagle with some eggs. The lizard wants to eat the eggs, and the lizard works for the bad guy. It's like his pet, but that lizard can do better. Lizard, if you need help, seek help. Okay. The kid's name is Cody, and at one point he gets to ride the eagle. And then, of course, Bianca and Bernard are back. Bianca and Bernard are back. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's Bianca. That's Bernard. Yes, they're mice. This is The Rescuers Down Under. Down Under, because we're in Australia. I do my best Australian accent if I do that one bingo line. Airport? I'm not going to the airport. Okay, so maybe the term Walt Disney Animated Classic is actually fair. And every movie that is under Walt Disney Animated Classic deserves to be there. The Rescuers Down Under deserves to be there because of the CGI they used for the eagle. Same thing with Black Cauldron. The wartime movies get a pass because they were early Disney animation. Other things can get a pass too. Let's give a pass to... Ayo, what? Are we serious right now? Animated classic. Animated classic. Disney's weird era. Let's talk about it. It starts with Dinosaur. Do you know the movie Dinosaur? Have you ever seen it? I've seen it. Let me tell you, it's about migration. As far as I remember. I don't remember this movie that well. The main character's name is Aladar, And I only know that because there's some of these movies that like I'm determined to be able to name a Disney character from every Disney movie. The animation's nice. It's not like Avatar levels of like, whoa, revolutionary. And they definitely weren't having as much fun as Pixar was with the CG model. Is it CG? The 3D animated. They weren't having as much fun with 3D animation as Pixar was. So this movie is really forgettable. Um, However, Disney did not think it would be. I learned this from a Jenny Nicholson video, but apparently when given the choice between like making the fantasy world with dragons or the Dino Carnival lot, they chose the Dino Carnival lot because they thought, we have the movie Dinosaur coming out. It's going to be really popular. To be fair, I remember going to Dino Land USA and Disney World when I was a kid. I remember looking around and being like, oh, this is like Six Flags, which is not what you want to think when you've paid as much money as you've paid to be at Disney World. 2000s, we also had Emperor's New Groove, which, as mentioned, flopped. It was supposed to be like this moody drama piece originally, starring other people. Then you have 2001 with Atlantis, which is also a flop in the box office, but again, people really like it. It's one of the ones that I was like, I need to own this on DVD. It's one of those movies that, like, it's really good. There's some funny stuff in there. It's an adventure. The voice acting is well done. The characters you actually care about. Like, it's a good movie. It just kind of flopped at the box office. And then we come to 2002. And 2002 is not the worst. It's not the worst. We like Treasure Planet. What's that one song? I'll have the title on the screen. The YouTube video will be playing. It is so good. The animation of this movie is really pretty. I just had like a core memory drop. There's this DVD game. Y'all remember DVD games? There's this DVD bingo game. And it had like different Disney characters instead of like the numbers. I don't know how DVD games work, but it would be like, okay, and next under B, we have Pumbaa. And if you had Pumbaa, you'd put the little circle on it. And then sometimes it would like play a clip. Sometimes it would play clips from Treasure Planet. It is so nostalgic to me. There's some really good animation. The character designs are really amazing. Her, cat alien lady. Amazing. Jim Hawkins, he was a skater boy. She said, see you later, boy. The backgrounds and the like, let's talk about Brother Bear. Let's talk about Brother Bear and Disney's unfortunate habit of making movies where the main character is a person of color and then turning them into an animal for most of the movie. Also, hot take, I think that Brave is better than Brother Bear. I know a lot of people don't like Brave, but I grew up at the right time for this movie. Brother Bear. I was talking about Brother Bear. Brother Bear is good. It is the second Disney animated classic to have its music done by Phil Collins, the first one being Tarzan. The songs aren't as popular or like memorable, but I like them. I like the turning into a bear thing. I like the like old lady who's like a little nutty trope that gets applied here. I love the it's been a whole year since I lost my dear husband, Edgar. Quit telling people I'm dead! Sometimes I can still hear his voice. It's not like the best movie, but like, you know, they did good. Would I call it a classic? I don't know. I feel like it has some humor stuff that's like dumb. And then we get 2004. This movie released 2 days before I turned 1 year old. And I think I was more mature at that time than this movie was. This is another one of those movies where like I can tell you kind of what happens and I know the name of one character. No, that's not true. I can also name Buck. He's a horse. When I was in middle school and I was a huge Disney fan, I like doing those. Guess the Disney song. Beef with that. If you choose a song from The Lion King, it's not hard edition. When people do musical theater hard mode, and then it's like songs from Wicked and Hamilton, that's not hard mode. You got to pull out like deep cuts from Bonnie and Clyde. I feel the same way about Disney when they're like hard mode and then they don't pull out songs from Home on the Range. There's more than one song on Home on the Range. I'm pretty sure the opening song is like Home Sweet Home on the Range. Can't tell you if that's right or not because this movie is not memorable. The plot of the movie is like they're gonna lose the farm. The old lady who runs the farm is gonna lose the farm. She's poor or something. So the cows go out to save the farm. And if you're thinking that doesn't sound interesting, you're kind of right. They meet this horse named Buck, who's like every dude bro you've ever thought of, but a horse, so it's funny, right? The villain yodels, and his villain song is like, "No, I yodel a little out of the." And it's pretty fun. It's kind of a fun time. There's like a lot of bright colors. It's very like, this is the Broadway showstopper kind of number. But it is the only fun part in the whole movie. So it is the only song that gets put on those aforementioned Guess the Disney Movie based on the song one, because it's the only one people care about. So nobody knows about this movie, nor should they. Flop. Why is this an animated classic? I think this movie is one of the movies that like put the final nail in the coffin of the 2D animated style. This is just me assuming, because immediately after, like, they were already working on what their next movie would have been, right? So like they're working on like some like 3D animated movies and they're kind of failing with those. We will talk about those. But then this movie also flops. And their other movies, again, are good, but the only one that has done well at the box office, as far as I know, is Lilo and Stitch. Emperor's New Groove didn't do super well. Atlantis didn't do super well. Brother Bear didn't do super well. So they're really like, okay, maybe we're going to go all in on CG. And that's what they do. And that's what we get with 2005's Chicken Little. Now, Chicken Little is how I know the Bare Naked Ladies, because they did the song One Little Slip from the movie Chicken Little. There's a lot of bands that I only know because of Disney. And I'm sorry about that. There's a lot of pop culture things I only know because of Disney. And I am sorry about that. Chicken Little is one of my childhood favorite movies. My dad was in the choir at our church. And we would have choir rehearsals on, I want to say Tuesday nights, but that's when I currently have choir rehearsals, so that could be wrong. And so they'd like put all the kids in one room and like pop in a movie. You get some animal crackers or goldfish if we were lucky, but we were an animal crackers church. Boo. And I think we almost always chose Chicken Little. If you don't know the story of Chicken Little, it's kind of like The Boy Who Cried Wolf, where it's like, the sky is falling, but the sky is not falling, so everyone stopped believing him. Also, this is the movie that has a character with my name. My name is Abby, A-B-B-Y. This is Abby Mallard, aka the Ugly Duckling. Thanks, Disney. Abby Mallard is a great character. She's also in love with Chicken Little, but that's not really the point. Chicken Little is like the worst nerd ever. So you're kind of like, okay, it's like a run to the litter story. No, this movie's about aliens. The sky literally falls. A piece of the sky falls into his room, and he's like freaking out because, you know, oh my gosh, that's a star in my room. This movie is not worth rewatching, despite the fact I loved this movie as a kid. The only part I like right now, the mayor is like, all these things and people are getting zapped, and he like looks at one of the aliens, and he's like, I'll give you the key to the city, and then they zap it. The key to my car? Tic Tac? And they just zap him. I love that part. That part's funny. That part's funny. This movie is not an animated classic. Disney really was like, we're gonna do what DreamWorks is doing and get out of the box with our 3D animated movies. And then they failed. On to 2007's Meet the Robinsons. This movie should not be an animated classic. Look at this big forehead and tell me this should be an animated classic. I love Meet the Robinsons. I didn't watch Meet the Robinsons until middle school. So this is one of my like fond memories from middle school. My favorite childhood memory of Meet the Robinsons is from Chicken Little, because the aforementioned choir nights when we would watch Chicken Little, we wouldn't skip through the ads. And one of the ads was for the movie that came next after Chicken Little, Meet the Robinsons. It'd be like, coming soon to theaters, because mind you, Chicken Little would have been in DVD in 2006, and then 2007, Meet the Robinsons. So it was an ad for Meet the Robinsons. And so there's certain quotes that like I'll watch the movie and I'll be like, that was in the ad. Allow me to shed some light on the subject. This movie is amazing. If you like found family movies, this is the movie for you. If you like movies where it's like a bunch of characters and none of them matter, but they're all like kind of fun, this is the movie for you. If you like movies that like kind of genre switch, this is the movie for you. If you like dinosaurs and you don't want to watch Disney's Dinosaur, this is the movie for you. Guess which one of these movies I still have on DVD? It's Meet the Robinsons. I love Meet the Robinsons. It should not be an animated classic. It's not animated well. It flopped at the box office. Most people don't care about it. This should not be an animated classic, but it is, because it's from Walt Disney Animated Pictures. This is probably the best of the weird era, and I am biased here because this is the one that I still like. But I think the plot is overall solid. This is also a time travel movie, by the way. And then it's followed up by 2008's Bolt, also a childhood classic of mine. It is about a dog spy TV show. The dog, Bolt, thinks he's actually like a spy with superpowers, but it's not real. It's all for the show. This dog gets out one night because his girl, the actress who plays Penny, who I guess her actual name is Penny, gets kidnapped for the show. The dog goes berserk, escapes, and then it's just like out in LA somewhere. This movie weirded me out as a kid. Like, I liked this movie. The end of the movie The actress quits, the dog quits. Well, the actress adopts the dog and is like, you can't treat the dog like this, we're leaving. It is her dog, but it's also the show's dog. It's a weird thing. Anyways, they leave the show, and then the show like rewrites them and like rewrites a new actress in, like she's had face surgery, so the villain doesn't recognize her. In my head, I didn't get, hey, the show has a different actress, because they're doing the whole like, it's a different actress, here's how we explained it, but they don't say it's a different actress because it's a TV show, and we're seeing the TV show, not the production behind it like we have for the rest of the movie. So in my head, they changed the actress's face with surgery for real for the show, and then changed it back so she could have her normal life. I was very confused as a kid. This movie's kind of good. Definitely not a classic. Definitely not a classic. That's 2008's Bolt. Next up, we have 2009's Princess and the Frog, which I think Disney would consider a flop because it didn't do as good as like their other princess movies of the 90s, nor does it do as good as the princess movies that follow in 2010 with Tangled and 2013 with Frozen, although no one can compete with 2013 Frozen. Okay, let's talk about it in terms of the first Disney Renaissance, which is the period in the 90s when like all of the Disney movies were like bangers. It really started with 1989 and The Little Mermaid. Now, if this is the second Disney Renaissance, which is what I'm going to call it, let's say Frozen is The Lion King. Frozen is the movie. It is everywhere. Everyone is talking about it. It's super good. It's super popular. The songs are on the radio, all of that. Tangled is The Little Mermaid. Tangled is the one where people are like, oh, yeah, Disney can do their thing. Disney has their thing. Especially since Tangled is like the first 3D animated movie that's like good looking and good. Now, if that's true, that Frozen is Lion King and Tangled is The Little Mermaid, Princess and the Frog is The Rescuers Down Under. It's a good movie. It didn't make the money that Disney wanted it to, but it's good. Like, people like it. Now, Princess and the Frog is a decent movie. It has really good music. I think that's the thing that Princess and the Frog got the best, is the music is really good. This movie does have against it that it is another movie where the main character is a person of color, but they don't get to like be a person of color the whole movie because she's a frog. We saw this earlier with Brother Bear. We see it also with Soul later from Pixar. And it also takes place in the 1920s, but doesn't really have racism, which I have heard some people say like detracts from like the genuine authenticity of this movie. There's also a woman who turns into a frog. Anyways, this one's sort of on the edge of flop. It's kind of like what I talked about with the first part of this video, where like it's not the best movie, but it's definitely a Disney movie. Like, this is a good movie. Animated classic is fine.
Welcome to another abrupt cut in this video where I'm no longer wearing the same clothing and now I've given up on the green screen. I have filmed twice me trying to talk about the modern Disney flop era, and it's just not fun. So I'm just gonna give you a very, very quicker than my email, this is a text now, overview. We had the Disney Renaissance, so we had Tangled and Winnie the Pooh doesn't really count. It was their last 2D animated film. It's good. It didn't do super well. It's not super popular. Not many people remember it, but it's good to watch. If you have kids, that's the one I would recommend to you. 2012, Wreck-It Ralph. 2013, Frozen, which is a giant. 2014, Big Hero 6. And then 2 in 2016, because one of them got pushed back from 2015, with Zootopia and Moana. All good movies, all movies that people liked, and that people were like, oh, Disney's kind of back. And then we had 2017. 2017, we had Ralph Breaks the Internet, and I think in 2019 we had Frozen 2, neither of which are very good. Ralph Breaks the Internet is fine. It's not that great. There's a random musical number, which I personally like, but I don't think the movie itself was at all as good as the first one. Frozen 2 is kind of the same thing. I think Frozen 2 had a lot to live up to, and then it was also like, there's a lot of production behind the scene things that happened to make it that way, like tight time, a lot of changes from the original plot, and then the things they changed it to didn't make a whole lot of sense, but they were tight on time, things like that. It's not an awful movie. In recent years, however, we've had Raya and the Last Dragon, which is fine, but not that good and not that remembered, especially by little girls who like playing with princess dolls. I work with those little girls. None of them mention Raya. We have Strange World, which has been utterly forgotten. Wish, which was talked about by everyone for reasons Disney did not want them to talk about. The only good movie they've had recently is Encanto, with the exception of Zootopia 2, which has been out while I've been working on this video, and I have not seen it yet because I am poor, I am in college. They're kind of in like a flop era right now, where it's like sequels that people didn't ask for or that aren't that good, with, again, the possible exception of Zootopia 2, and then like movies that people don't like, and the only movie they've done that's good seems like a fluke because everything else has just been so forgettable. Anyways, I talked more in depth about that in my other recordings, but it just felt like negative complaining. I appreciate you watching this, and as a ending teaser thing, here is an edit of me trying to list all of the movies I could remember in order from 1995 onward for Disney and Pixar.
This video was inspired by me not being able to sleep at 2 a.m. and seeing if I could still name all of the Disney animated movies in release order. When I say all, I mean starting with the 2000s. Really 1999. This is how I do it in my head, is when I know there's a break, I go to the Pixar movies. 1995, they had Toy Story. Then 1998, they had Bug's Life. Then Toy Story 2 came out in 1999. You got Fantasia 2000. Then we go into the 2000s where we have the critically acclaimed movie Dinosaur, followed by Emperor's New Groove. Disney was releasing flop after flop. 2001, they had Monsters Incorporated, Atlantis Lost Empire. 2002, Lilo and Stitch. 2003, Brother Bear, Finding Nemo. 2004 was The Incredibles, Home on the Range. 2005, Chicken Little. In 2006, Cars. 2007 was Ratatouille. 2007, Meet the Robinsons. 2008, they had Bolt. Wall-E. 2009 is Up. 2009, Princess and the Frog, and this is when we start to go back uphill. 2010 is Tangled. 2010 was Toy Story 3. 2011 was Cars 2. 2011 with Winnie the Pooh.